Hey, welcome back to Rick's Reviews. I'm your host, Movie Real Rick. And today, we're talking about the 9th official movie from legendary director Quentin Tarantino, starring Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt, living the dream in the golden era of show business, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. This movie takes place in 1969 Hollywood, and, much like his other masterpiece, Inglourious Basterds, Quentin Tarantino intertwines real characters with fictional ones, all while putting his own unique twist on history. But instead of a fictional unit of Jewish American soldiers utilizing guerrilla tactics to topple Adolf Hitler in the Third Reich, this movie revolves around the perpetrators and victims of the Manson family murders. For those unfamiliar with the particulars, Charles Manson was the leader of a California hippie commune and cult known as the Manson family, and orchestrated the murders of 9 innocent people. The most notorious of which were that of actress Sharon Tate, who was 8 months pregnant at the time, and her 4 house guests, who were total strangers to the entire Manson family, but were brutally murdered solely because they were staying in the same house that had previously been occupied by a record producer who had snubbed Charles Manson years earlier. The pregnant actress was stabbed 16 times, and the attackers wrote the word pig in her blood on the front door. Pretty f***ing horrific. But also important that you're familiar with this chilling chapter of American history before you see this movie, which primarily stars Leonardo DiCaprio as a washed-up 50s TV actor desperately trying to keep his career afloat, and at his side is his best friend and stuntman turned personal assistant, Brad Pitt. Much of the movie follows these two in their misadventures around Tinseltown as they negotiate Hollywood hurdles in a very Entourage-esque fashion. But unlike Entourage, there are no boobies to keep our movie reels spinning and very little action, especially for a Quentin Tarantino film. In fact, this is without a doubt the least violent Tarantino movie to date, and as a result, kinda drags a bit. Brad drives Leo to the set, then picks him up later, then drives him to a meeting, then dinner, then home, then picks him up again in the morning. I mean, a good chunk of this movie is just these two driving around town chatting. Now, all Tarantino movies are inherently dialogue-driven, but usually his scenes with drawn-out conversations will lead somewhere, or builds to an epic climax that typically involves a shitload of graphic bloodshed. But instead of magnificently choreographed violence, we mostly get teased with a hint of action, or none at all, leaving me with a serious metaphorical case of acute anticlimactic-induced blue balls. A serious moviegoer medical condition. Now, don't get me wrong, this film is still super enjoyable. It was just totally different than what I was expecting from Tarantino number 9. It is consistently entertaining throughout, aside from a few drawn-out dialogue scenes, and is delightfully colorful as it convincingly transports you back to the magical world that was 1960s Hollywood. It really was an amazing era. I wish I would have been alive during that time because I think I would have really enjoyed all the non-stop drinking and smoking, the mellow vibe, and I absolutely love the style, as you can see. And for those of you who were alive during that time frame, your veins are going to be pumping with nostalgia from all the classic cars, bright neon signs, and that overall groovy 60s feel. Not to mention, the QT Man assembled an all-star supporting cast, including Kurt Russell, Al Pacino, Timothy Olyphant, Damian Lewis, the late Luke Perry, and Margot Robbie, who plays the ill-fated Sharon Tate. Overall, I found this to be a very enjoyable movie with a fun retro vibe. Yeah, it's not the typical Tarantino style that we all know and love, but I like this movie a lot more than his previous uber-violent film, The Hateful Eight. Although I would have really enjoyed seeing more of Leo down under in Margot Robbie's Australian outback again, like in The Wolf of Wall Street. But now that she's a big star, I don't think we'll be seeing much more of those koala bears anytime soon. In short, if you enjoy Tarantino flicks, or you're a fan of the two main stars, you're gonna like this movie. I just want to manage your expectations, and that there's a lot less action and mayhem than is typical of the T-Man. But it's still a very entertaining movie, and I love the creative liberties they took with the pages of history, so I suggest you check it out. Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed my review, please like and subscribe, and comment below on what you thought of the movie and my review. And tune in next weekend and every weekend for new reviews on movies and TV shows. Same Rick time, same Rick channel. Thanks for watching Movie Real Rick.